Hello students, welcome to our APS classes, and as all we know that this is our foundation course especially for the students from 8th to 12th. And dear students, in our today's video we will discuss about the most expected questions related with your class 10th and for the session that is March 2022. And remember one thing, this syllabus is common for all the boards, either state board or the CBSE board. तो आज की जो वीडियो है बेटे हमारी वो क्लास 10th से रिलेटेड साइंस सब्जेक्ट की है, जिसमें हम इम्पॉर्टेंट 20 एक्सपेक्टेड क्वेश्चंस को डिस्कस करेंगे दैट आर रिलेटेड विद योर सेशन दैट इज मार्च 2022, जो कि हमने सेकेंड टर्म से रिलेटेड जो आपका सिलेबस है उस सेकेंड टर्म से रिलेटेड सिलेबस के अकॉर्डिंग हमने 20 इंपॉर्टेंट एक्सपेक्टेड क्वेश्चंस को और ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस को जो है आज लिया है, जिसको कि आज हम आपके साथ डिस्कस करेंगे. So dear student, this video is related with most expected questions for class 10th, and this syllabus is common for the boards, either CBSE board or the state board, for the session that is 2022. So let us start with our first question, and your first question is: before burning in air, the magnesium ribbon is cleaned by rubbing with a sandpaper tube. ठीक है, बिफोर बर्निंग इन एयर, आग में जलाने से पहले जो मैग्नीशियम रिबन है दैट इज Mg, द मैग्नीशियम रिबन is cleaned by rubbing with a sandpaper, and your options are: make the ribbon surface shiner, second one is remove the layer of magnesium oxide from the ribbon surface, this is second option. Third option is remove the layer of magnesium carbonate from the ribbon surface, and the last one is remove the moisture from the ribbon surface. So there are four options that before burning in air, magnesium ribbon is cleaned by rubbing with sandpaper to above. There are four options, तो इनमें से आपको फोर ऑप्शंस में से आपको सही ऑप्शन जो है वो चूज करनी है कि सही ऑप्शन कौन सी हो सकती है. तो बेटे जब हम बर्निंग से पहले, बिफोर बर्निंग इन एयर, मैग्नीशियम रिबन बी क्लीन्ड बाय रबिंग विद अ सैंडपेपर टू रिमूव द लेयर ऑफ मैग्नीशियम कार्बोनेट, जिसमें हम मैग्नीशियम कार्बोनेट की लेयर को क्या करते हैं, दिस इज मैग्नीशियम कार्बोनेट, टू रिमूव द लेयर ऑफ मैग्नीशियम कार्बोनेट फ्रॉम द रिबन सरफेस. रिबन के सरफेस के ऊपर जो एक मैग्नीशियम कार्बोनेट की लेयर जम जाती है, उस मैग्नीशियम कार्बोनेट की लेयर को रिमूव करने के लिए हम उसको किस चीज के साथ रब करते हैं, बाय सैंडपेपर, टू रिमूव द लेयर ऑफ द मैग्नीशियम कार्बोनेट ऑन द रिबन surface. So this is the right answer. Remove the layer of magnesium carbonate from the ribbon surface. Rest are the wrong options. तो इनमें से जो हम उसको सैंड पेपर के साथ इसलिए रब किया जाता है ताकि हम उसके ऊपर से मैग्नीशियम कार्बोनेट की लेयर को रिमूव कर सके रिबन सरफेस के ऊपर से. नेक्स्ट इज क्वेश्चन नंबर 2, and your question number 2 is: it is necessary to balance a chemical equation in order to satisfy the law of chemical equation, and there are reactants as well as products involved in the chemical reaction. But when the reactant side is equal to the product side, at that time we can say that our equation is balanced chemical equation. So here it is necessary to balance the chemical equation. So here this is the reactant, and when reactant side is equal to the product side, at that time we can say that the equation is balanced chemical equation. That type of equation is known as balanced chemical equation. Balanced chemical equation. So here it is necessary to balance the chemical equation in order to satisfy the law of, first is conservation of motion, second one is conservation of momentum, third one is conservation of energy, and the last one is conservation of mass. तो ये क्यों necessary है? It is necessary to balance the chemical equation in order to satisfy the law of either conservation of motion, conservation of momentum, conservation of energy, and the conservation of mass. So there are 4 options related with the question number 2. तो यहाँ पर हमें इसलिए नेसेसरी है इक्वेशन, केमिकल इक्वेशन को बैलेंस करना इन ऑर्डर टू सेटिस्फाई द लॉ ऑफ मास, लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास। लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए हमें जरूरी है केमिकल इक्वेशन को बैलेंस करना टू सेटिस्फाई द लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास, not the law of conservation of motion, not the momentum, as well as not the energy, but it is only satisfy the law of conservation of mass. So here this is the right answer. Next is your question number 3, and your question number 3 is the displacement reaction between iron 3 oxide and metal X is used for welding the rail track. Here X is displacement reaction जो है that is between the iron 3 oxide and a metal supposed to be X is used for welding the railway track or rail tracks. Here X is, options are copper granules, B magnesium ribbon, C sodium pellets, and D is aluminium dust. There are 4 options related with this question, that the displacement reaction between the iron 3 oxide and the metal X that is used for welding the rail track. So here X is either copper granules, magnesium ribbon, sodium pellets, as well as aluminium dust. तो यहाँ पर जो हमारा X है बेटा, here X is aluminium dust, aluminium dust. So here this is the right answer, that is the aluminium dust, and the symbol of aluminium is Al. Atomic number of aluminium is 13. So here the displacement reaction between the iron 3 oxide and the metal X is used for welding a rail track. Here X is the aluminium dust. Now shift to the question number 4, and your question number 4 is zinc granules on treating with an acid. The symbol of zinc is Zn. This is zinc. So zinc granules on treating with an acid X, अगर zinc granules को treat किया जा रहा है with an acid X from the zinc sulfate, the formula of zinc sulfate is ZnSO4. The formula of zinc sulfate is ZnSO4, along with the evolution of gas Y, which burns with a pop sound when brought near a burning candle. Identify the acid X and gas evolved by. तो यहाँ पर आपको एसिड X को जस्टिफाई करना है और गैस इवॉल्व्ड Y को जस्टिफाई करना है. X sulfuric acid and Y is oxygen gas. X is hydrochloric acid and Y is oxygen gas. X is sulfuric acid and Y is hydrogen gas. D, X is hydrochloric acid and Y is hydrogen gas. तो इसमें ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया बेटे, when the zinc granules on treating with an acid X that forms the zinc sulfate, and the formula of zinc sulfate is ZnSO4, along with the evolution of the gas Y, and here producing the pop sound when brought near a burning candle. Identify the evolved gas as well as the acid X. इसमें से आपको evolved gas Y को जस्टिफाई करना है, acid X को जस्टिफाई करना है. X या तो सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड है या फिर ऑक्सीजन गैस है, Y जो है वो क्या है, ऑक्सीजन गैस है. सो इट इज योर क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. तो बेटे यहाँ पर जो हमारा X जो है, X इज द एसिड. सो हियर X इज द सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड, X इज द सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड. हमारा X जो है बेटे वो क्या है, सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड. Whereas Y is the hydrogen gas. Y is the hydrogen gas. Y जो है that is hydrogen gas. तो यहाँ पर आपको रिमेंबर करना है बेटे कि X जो है it is the sulfuric acid and Y is the hydrogen gas. So here this is the right answer. X is the sulfuric acid and Y is the hydrogen gas. Now shift to the question number 5, and your question number 5 is the metal which is liquid at room temperature is. The metal which is liquid at room temperature, उस metal का नाम बताना है. That metal is liquid at room temperature. Options are bromine, B mercury, C iodine, and D is potassium. And it is your question number 5 beta. It is your question number 5. The metal which is liquid at room temperature. उस metal का नाम बताएं. That metal is liquid at room temperature. तो बेटे bromine is not the metal that is liquid at room temperature. Iodine is not again liquid at room temperature. Potassium is again not liquid at room temperature. Whereas mercury is liquid at room temperature. So remember one thing, mercury is the only metal which is liquid at room temperature. So here this is the right answer for the question number 5. Now shift to the question number 6, and your question number 6 is, which of the following statements about graphite and diamond is true? आपके पास 4 statements दी गई हैं. उन 4 statements में से आपको ये justify करना है कि कौन सी statement जो है वो true है regarding with the diamond and the graphite. And it is the question number 6. They have the same crystal structure. Second one, they have the same degree of hardness. They have the same electrical conductivity. And the last one is, they can undergo the same chemical reactions. So out of these following statements, which is the true statement about the diamond and the graphite? Either they have the same crystal structure, either they have the same degree of hardness, either they have the same electrical conductivity, and the last one is, they can undergo the same chemical reactions. And it is your beta question number 6. So बेटा इनमें से जो statements हमारी सही है about the diamond and the graphite is, they can undergo the same chemical reactions. Both diamond as well as graphite, they can undergo the same chemical reactions. So this is the true statement regarding the question number 6, that out of the following statements, which statements are correct or true about the diamond and the graphite? Either उनमें कुछ या तो उनमें same crystal structure है, so this is the wrong statement. Second one, they do not have the same degree of hardness. They do not have the same electrical conductivity. Whereas both of them have the same property that they can undergo the same chemical reactions. दोनों के दोनों, चाहे वो diamond है या graphite है, they can undergo the same chemical reactions. दोनों के दोनों जो है वो same chemical reactions को proceed करते हैं. So here about the diamond and the graphite, the true statement is that they can undergo the chemical reactions. So here this is the true statement for the question number 6. Now shift to the question number 7, and your question number 7 is, what happens to the electropositive character of element on moving from left to right in a periodic table? What happens to the electropositive character of elements? क्या होगा electropositive character of the elements when they move from left to right in the periodic table? तो electropositive character कौन सा होता है बेटे? Those characters in which the elements can easily lose the electrons, जिसमें वो electrons को easily lose करते हैं, that property is known as electropositivity. तो what happens to the elements in the periodic table when they move from left to right in the periodic table? Options: either they will increase, or decreases. First increases, then decreases, and the last one is first decreases, then increases. And it is your question number 7 beta. What happens to the electropositive character of the elements on moving from left to right in the periodic table? So beta, when the elements move from left to right in the periodic table, their electropositive character will decrease. Electropositive character electropositive character decreases. नोट कर सकते हैं बेटे, electropositive character decreases. So when the elements move from left to right in the periodic table, at that time the electropositive character of the elements decreases. उस टाइम जो electropositive character होगा elements का वो क्या करेगा, decrease करेगा. So here this is the right answer. Now shift to the question number 8, and your question number 8 is, sometimes we get painful cramps in our leg muscles after running for a long time due to accumulation of. कई बार क्या होता है, जब हम दौड़ते हैं, भागते हैं, at that time we get painful cramps on our legs. उस टाइम हमारी टांगों में जो है painful cramps होते हैं running for a long time due to the accumulation of. वो किसकी वजह से होते हैं? either किसकी वजह से होंगे बेटे? It is your question number 8. Hydrochloric acid, B. Fat, C. Carbon dioxide, and D is the lactic acid. So here beta, which is the correct option for the question number 8? Sometimes we get painful cramps in our legs when we walk or when we run for a long time. That is due to the accumulation of either hydrochloric acid, fat, carbon dioxide, and the lactic acid. So beta, at that time we get painful cramps in our legs when we move for a long time due to the accumulation of lactic acid. Due to the accumulation of lactic acid. So here this is the right answer, that is lactic acid. So here we get painful cramps on our legs when we move for a long time. At that time, that is due to the accumulation of only lactic acid, not due to the hydrochloric acid, not due to the fats, and even not to the carbon dioxide. Now dear students, shift to the question number 9, and your question number 9 is the process of diffusion of solvent particles from the region of the less solute concentration to a region of high solute concentration through semi-permeable membrane is known as. दोबारा से रिपीट कर रहे हैं बेटा. The process of diffusion of solvent particles from the region of the less solute concentration to a region of high solute concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. It is known as, option A is diffusion, B is osmosis. First is diffusion, second one is osmosis, third one is translocation, and the fourth one is transpiration. And it is your question number 8 beta. It is your question number 9. The process of diffusion of solvent. Question number 9. The process of diffusion of solvent particles from the region of less solute concentration to a region of high solute concentration through a semi-permeable membrane, that is known as osmosis. That is known as osmosis. This is the right answer for the question number 9. Now shift to the question number 10, and your question number 10 is, arteries and veins are connected by a network of extremely narrow tubes called. It is your question number 10. Arteries and veins. Arteries and veins are connected by a network. Both arteries and veins, both are connected by a network of, दोनों के दोनों arteries हैं या veins हैं, both of them are connected by a special type of network, network of extremely narrow tubes, and that narrow tubes are called as, options दी गई है बेटे, sieve tubes, capillaries, vena cava, and valves. So how we can say that arteries and veins both are interconnected by a special type of network through narrow tubes, and these narrow tubes are called as either sieve tubes, capillaries, vena cava, and valves. and it is your beta question number 10. So both of them are connected by a special type of network, extremely narrow tubes, and that is called as capillaries. That is known as capillaries. जो स्मॉल नेटवर्क है जिसकी हेल्प से आपके वेने केवा और सॉरी नॉट वेने केवा बट आर्टरीज एंड वेन्स आर कनेक्टेड बाय अ स्पेशल टाइप ऑफ नेटवर्क ऑफ एक्सट्रीमली नैरो ट्यूब्स that is called as the capillaries. So here capillaries is the right answer. Now shift to the question number 11, and your question number 11 is the growth of tendrils in pea plant is due to the growth of tendrils in pea plant is due to the जो growth है हमारे tendrils plant की that is due to the options are effect of sunlight on the tendril cell facing the sun. Second one is effect of gravity on the part of tendril having down towards the earth. Third one is rapid cell division and elongation of tendril cells that are away from the support. Last one is rapid cell division and elongation in tendril cells in contact with the spore. So beta here it is your question number 11, and according to the question number 11 the effect of the growth of tendrils in pea plant is due to the जो growth होती है हमारी tendril plants की that is due to the effect of तो जो growth हमारी tendrils की pea plant में बेटा that is due to the rapid cell division and elongation of tendril cells, rapid cell division and elongation of the tendril cells that are away from the spore. So that's why the growth of the tendrils in the pea plant is due to the rapid cell division and elongation of the tendril cells that are away from the support. So here this is the right answer for the question number 11. Now shift to the question number 12, and the question number 12 is the asexual reproduction in the Spirogyra involves reproduction. The ability to produce young ones is known as reproduction. The reproduction is further of two types, sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. And further, there are various sex organs both in the male reproductive system and female reproductive system. So here the asexual reproduction in case of the Spirogyra involves option A is breaking or up of the filaments into the smaller bits. Second one is division of cell into many cells. Third one is division of cell into two cells, and the last one is formation of large number of buds. So how we can say that the asexual reproduction in the Spirogyra involves out of these four processes, which process involves the asexual production in Spirogyra? It is your question number 12, and breaking up of the filaments into smaller bits, division of the cell into many cells, division of cell into two cells, and the last one is formation of large number of buds. तो बेटा जो asexual production है in the Spirogyra, it involves the division of cells, division of cell, division of cell into many cells. So here it is your question number 12. Now shift to the question number 13, and your question number 13 is what is the ratio by volume of hydrogen and oxygen present in the water? What is the ratio by the volume of hydrogen and oxygen that is present in water? Because by combining with hydrogen and oxygen it forms the water. Hydrogen और oxygen को combine कर क्या बनता है बेटे? Water. पर by volume के हिसाब से कितने molecules oxygen के होंगे और कितने hydrogen के होंगे? Ratio के हिसाब से option 1 is 1:2, second one is 1:1, C 1:8, and D is 2:1. So when we combine hydrogen plus oxygen, it forms water. So at that time 2 molecules of hydrogen plus 1 molecule of oxygen, it forms the hydrogen. So here the ratio is 2:1. 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of oxygen. So it forms the volume by the ratio by volume of hydrogen and oxygen that is present in water is 2:1. So here this is the right answer for the question number 13. Now shift to the question number 14, and here question number 14 is which options give the chemical equation? Chemical equation when the reactant side is equal to the product side. At that time a reactant forms the product. Suppose this is the reactant. When reactant forms the product, at that time it is chemical equation. Chemical equation. But when the reactant side is equal to the product side, at that time we can say that equation is balanced chemical equation. जब हमारी reactant side जो होगी वो equal हो जाएगी product side की, at that time we can say that equation is balanced chemical equation. So which option give the chemical equation to form aluminium chloride from the aluminium and chlorine? कौन सी इक्वेशन है जो हमें क्या देगी? एल्यूमिनियम क्लोराइड को बनाएगी from the aluminium and chlorine, and it is your question number 14. तो बेटे कैसे देगी हमें? पहली ऑप्शन है 2Al 3Cl2 give rise to 2AlCl3. सेकेंड है 2Al Cl2 give rise to 2AlCl. थर्ड वन Al plus Cl2 give rise to AlCl2. Fourth one is 3Al plus 3Cl2 give rise to 3ACl3 AlCl3. तो यहाँ पर जो हमारी ऑप्शन केमिकल इक्वेशन की सही ऑप्शन है कि जिसमें वो एल्यूमिनियम क्लोराइड को बनाता है जब हम कंबाइन करते हैं एल्यूमिनियम एंड क्लोरीन को. सो द करेक्ट इक्वेशन इज बेटा 2Al, 2 molecules of aluminium combined with 3 molecules of chlorine. At that time it give rise to 2 molecules of aluminium chloride. Al is the aluminium, Cl is the chlorine, it forms aluminium chloride. Aluminium chloride. So here beta this is the correct option regarding the chemical equation to form the aluminium chloride from the aluminium and chlorine. Now shift to the question number 15, and your question number 15 is what is the chemical formula of magnesium oxide? And it is your question number 15. इसमें से आपको ये बताना है कि कौन सा फॉर्मूला जो है वो मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड का है. ऑप्शंस दी गई हैं Mg2O, B MgO2, C MgOH2 and MgO. Mg2O magnesium oxide. MgO2, it is again not the formula of magnesium oxide. MgOH2 magnesium hydroxide, it is again not the formula of magnesium oxide. But MgO मैग्नीशियम ऑक्सीजन, जब हम मैग्नीशियम को कंबाइन करेंगे ऑक्सीजन के साथ, एट दैट टाइम इट फॉर्म्स मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड. सो मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड इज द MgO is the formula of magnesium oxide. Formula of magnesium oxide. तो बेटे ध्यान रखें कि जो MgO है, it is the formula of magnesium oxide. So here MgO, option D is the right answer for this question, that is question number 16. And according to the question number 15, according to question number 15, the chemical formula of the magnesium oxide is MgO, magnesium oxide, that is MgO. Now shift to the question number 16, and the question number 16 is question number 16, and your question number 16 is black and white photography uses. black and white photography uses? Option A is displacement reaction, B oxidation reaction, C combination reaction, and D is decomposition reaction. So here black and white photography uses, and it is your question number 16. Black and white photography कहाँ use की जाती है? Either displacement reactions में, oxidation reaction में, combination reaction में, या फिर decomposition reaction में. So here बेटा black and white photography uses decomposition reactions. So this is the right answer for the question number 16. That is black and white photography uses in the decomposition reactions. Now shift to the question number 17, and your question number 17 is an example of an oxidation reaction is. इनमें से कौन है जो example है oxidation reaction की? Gain of hydrogen, B loss of oxygen, C gain of oxygen, and D none of the above. And it is your question number 17. 17 का जो सही आंसर है बेटे, what is the right option of question number 17? An example of an oxidation reaction is. So beta gain of hydrogen is not the example of oxidation reaction. Oxygen का loss होना भी oxidation reaction के example नहीं है. Whereas gain of oxygen is an example of oxidation reaction. Gain of oxygen is an example of oxidation reaction. So here this is the right answer. Now shift to the question number 18, and your question number 18 is which one is an example of chemical reaction? इनमें से कौन है जो chemical reaction की example है? Options है formation of curd, दही का जमना जो है it is a chemical reaction. Breakdown of food का breakdown होना either it is a chemical reaction. Fermented grapes, it is either a chemical reaction or not, and the last one is all of the above. So which one of the following is an example of chemical reaction? So here it is your question number 18. Which one is an example of chemical reactions? Formation of curd is an example of chemical reaction. Breakdown of food again is an example of chemical reaction. Fermented grapes, it is again an example of chemical reaction. So here all of these are the chemical reactions. तो यहाँ पर ये सारी की सारी जो examples हैं बेटे that are of chemical reactions. कर्ड का बनना, ठीक है, फूड का breakdown होना, या फिर fermented grapes. All these are the examples of the chemical reaction. So here this is the right answer. That is all of the above. Now shift to the question number 19, and your question number 19 is what acid does a tomato have? Tomato में कौन सा acid है? What acid does a tomato have? Either citric acid, B oxalic acid, C lactic acid, and D is hydrochloric acid. So what acid does a tomato have? It is your question number 19. टोमेटो में कौन सा एसिड होता है? सिट्रिक एसिड है, ऑक्सैलिक एसिड है, लैक्टिक एसिड है, या फिर हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड है? तो बेटा जो टोमेटो में एसिड होता है दैट इज ऑक्सैलिक एसिड. Tomato has oxalic acid, and the formula of oxalic acid is COOH bond COOH. This is the formula of oxalic acid. So the tomato have oxalic acid, not citric acid, not lactic acid, and even not hydrochloric acid, but only and only tomato have oxalic acid. So here oxalic acid is the right answer. Now shift to the question number 20, and your question number 20 is dash does not contain water of crystallization. Dash does not contain water of crystallization. Options are blue vitriol, B gypsum, C baking soda, and D is washing soda. So dash does not contain water of crystallization. कौन है जो कि कंटेन नहीं करता है वाटर ऑफ क्रिस्टलाइजेशन? ब्लू विट्रॉल है, जिप्सम है, वॉशिंग सोडा है. सो हियर बेटा बेकिंग सोडा, बेकिंग soda does not contain water of crystallization. So here beta baking soda does not contain water of crystallization. So here beta we complete important 20 questions related with your science subject, especially for the class 10th for the session March 2022. That is common for all the boards, either state board or the CBSE board, and this syllabus is related with your second term examination. तो यहाँ पर बेटे हमने important 20 questions जो है related with the second term examination से हमने whole syllabus में से include किए हैं, जो कि आपके एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से काफी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस है, एक्सपेक्टेड क्वेश्चंस है. सो लेट अस आप दोबारा से इनको अच्छे से रिवाइज करें. सो वंस अगेन गुड नाइट टू ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स.